Welcome to another video from Gweilo 60. Today I'm here with another YouTuber on the Kazakhstan-China border, and we're way off the beaten path, eh?
We are. Hello everybody, my name is Toby, aka Mr. Wang. Yeah, I'm trying to do YouTube as well. We are on the beaten path, right? I think we're on the border between China and Kazakhstan.
Yes, we are on the border, and when we were driving up here, we were told, oh, don't take pictures and don't do this and don't do that, but I don't believe that it's a problem.
No, I don't. Look, I think the world over, but China in particular, people are always a bit nervous on borders, around borders.
Yeah, I think so, and I think it's just a lack of understanding.
Sure, absolutely. And don't forget, these things, you know, they trickle down from one language to the other, from one boss, from one manager, from one captain. Exactly. By the time it gets down to us, potentially, it's just don't fill.
Just don't do it.
It's like Chinese whispers.
Yeah. Well, so tell me about your. How long have you been in China?
Okay, so I've been here for many years. Right now, I say my starting point is about the end of 2010, but I'd actually been to China before that, but sort of living here more full-time around 2010, and for most of the time I've been in Sichuan, Chengdu, so southwest China.
Okay, and you're fluent in Chinese?
Yeah, I speak Chinese.
Okay, so tell me, say your dog pissed on my carpet.
My dog?
No, your dog pissed on my carpet.
Okay, you see,
whenever I ask somebody to speak a language, that's what I talk.
Is that it?
That's what I do. Yeah. So you're married to a Chinese person.
I am. That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Kids?
Yes. Yeah.
What's your channel? Like you do YouTube and you do Chinese social media too.
Yeah. So what happened? It's just a bit of a basic info on me. I started with Chinese social media. I started that. And then, I never really thought about sort of international media, YouTube and so on. But I sort of fell into Chinese social media, sort of enjoyed it, liked it. My sort of niche is sort of, foreigner speaking Chinese. I did that in sort of little towns. They like that. Foreigner turns up in your little town, speaks your local dialect. Yeah. That was my little shtick. And then I thought, okay, well, this is going well. Why don't I try and do a bit of international media as well, maybe YouTube.
So, but YouTube is harder to crack than Chinese social media, eh?
I find that. I mean, I don't have that niche, right? I'm fairly pale skin, and then I go to a town in southwest China, and I look very different from everyone else, but then I'll try and imitate their accent. So that's my little thing. Oh, that's fun. Yeah. That doesn't work on YouTube.
no, it doesn't. And I see it with Patrick from Patrick's World.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he speaks such fluent Chinese, but he's had a hard time cracking the YouTube thing, and but he does really good on Chinese social media.
Yeah.
Tell me more about your life here in China.
All right, so originally I'm from the UK, England, London, and I've spent most of my time in China, as I've already said, in Sichuan, Chengdu, so southwest China. Yeah. Guys, if you heard of that place, you probably heard the pandas, spicy food, but there's so much more to Sichuan, Chengdu. In fact, for a short period of my stay in China, I was in Shanghai, and although I liked it, I felt it was quite similar to London in a way. And if I was going to stay in Shanghai, if I was going to be in that huge big city, I may as well sort of go home and be in London with friends and family. So Chengdu for me it's become, over in fact the last 10 years, much more international, a much bigger city, but it remains somehow more of a compact place. I like to tell everyone, within that city you can get anywhere within half an hour. Basically, Basically you can get anywhere within half an hour. Obviously Friday nights in South Chengdu is just about the worst traffic in the world. But other than that,
well, you've got subways and whatever, so you don't really have to stay above ground. You can go underground.
We can. But guys, it doesn't really happen in Chengdu like this. But have you seen those Japanese metros videos where like people in white gloves like pushing people on? We could do with that in Chengdu. On line 1 and line 2, anyone that's been in Chengdu on the metro system during rush hour would know this. It is rammed. You're never cold on the metro system.
Yeah, I suppose.
During rush hour, you're packed up tight. It's
Well, there's so many people. That's the thing. I know in Nanning it's not quite like that, but and we're a smaller city, only 9 million people.
Okay.
But it does get
small city, 9 million people.
Well, in China, it's different here in China. You know, when you get into like Chongqing, I think you got 40 million.
That's huge. Ridiculous.
It's nuts, you know what? And it's becoming its own administrative zone. It used to be part of Sichuan province.
It did,
and it got so big that they just sort of broke away, and now they're their own little administrative region.
It's huge, and what you'd have seen actually, this has been a China policy over the last at least 10 years, perhaps longer. It's the sort of go west policy. So since about '79, the coastal cities of China, especially down south, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, especially then your Shanghai's, your Ningbo, and so on, have really developed, and that was a lot to do with export. But that meant that China became a sort of a bit wonky in terms of its development. It was more sort of coastal, east-based. But in the last few years, really trying to make a push westwards. And what is that? Well, that's Chengdu, the provincial capital of Sichuan, but as you just said as well, Chongqing. Well, so those two cities.
Even Nanning, like when I came to Nanning in 2003, it was only 3.2 million people, and
you've been busy.
21 years later, it's 9 million. And they say it's going to become a mega city in the next 10, 15 years, just for the fact that it is that center of the Asian conglomeration of countries. This is where all the administration is. So all it takes is just something like that to build a city, and then they've got the massive urbanization all across China to try to uplift the economic welfare of the people, especially the rural people moving into the cities. Better education, better health care, better jobs, and the whole nine yards.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep walking, or are we stopping? What's better for you?
Well, you see, when you turn around like this, and we got this over our shoulder.
That's why you're a professional YouTuber. That's why you're a pro.
Well,
I wouldn't even think about.
Well, you see, and then you've got that shine over your shoulder and stuff like that. So when we're sitting like this, well, then we've got the sun. Sure, our faces are all sunny and we're overexposed, but at least there's not that shine over your shoulder. You know what I mean?
This is why he's a pro, and I'm basically an absolute beginner. I would have turned around, blinded the audience, everyone would have turned off.
Well, yeah. See, and that's why I'm tripping over my lips. So how many subscribers do you have on YouTube?
YouTube, I think I've got about 4,000 or 5,000.
4,000 or 5,000? Okay, so you're monetized.
Yeah, just about monetized, but I'm not making money out of it because basically what happened with me, and I don't know if this happened to you, I basically had one or two videos that did well.
Yeah.
And then, do you want to know what the subject of those videos
Sure,
are?
shoot.
So I just had to go to the hospital one time in China. Minor thing, I think I hurt my leg or something playing football. I filmed it.
And STD?
No, hurt my leg. This is my third leg. No, exactly. It's going to get banned. No, playing football. I hurt my real leg. And
the other one's not real?
Exactly. No. And I filmed it, and I basically said hospital in China, right? Yeah. And that did really well. And then subsequently, I did a few more hospital visits, and they've all done well. But I don't think my entire channel can be hospital visits to China.
No. Well, I think variety is the spice of life in anything. Like I do political videos. I do, I'll walk through a wet market and show people in the West how they're getting screwed on their vegetables and their fruits and stuff, and how cheap it is to live in China. I'll go into a military hospital in Chongqing and do a video in a military hospital to show that it can be done. I'll do a video in front of a police station and nobody bothers me. Plus, I'll go to a park and show people exercising. Then I'll hit a bar and be drinking and showing people that you can sit there on the side of the street and drink a beer. Then I'll travel to a place like Xinjiang Autonomous Region with a group of people from China Daily and do videos about that. So if you just focus on one thing, I think that people get really bored with it really quick. But if you've got a whole variety of things that you do, and you got to sort of think outside the box, because I've done over 800 videos, so it's difficult to get to think new stuff. You know what I mean?
What do your viewers? Perhaps your viewers could put in the sort of comments below. What are your viewers looking for in your videos? Do they want to see you? Do they want to see China live?
It's all about me and my beautiful face. Come on, guys. No, I think they want to see what life is really like in China, where I walk around and I I don't do a lot of videos in studio. I do it out on the street where they can see the background, and if they don't want to listen to me, they can turn the noise off, and they can just look at the background and see the shops and the people and what they're driving or what they're riding or the pretty girls or
genuine interest in China.
I think so, because people, most of the people that watch YouTube about China have never been to China, and they're actually curious about how life is on the streets of China. Where do they get their groceries? What do the shops look like? What do the people look like? What are they wearing? What are they driving? Do they have smiles on their face? Just different areas, tourist places, parks to whatever. Is
that a recent interest?
No, it's been since I started the channel. It's been like that.
Yeah. Doug
and here comes Douglas.
Where are you going, Doug? Off for a video. He's going jogging. Yeah. He's going to Kazakhstan.
I think the police are after him.
It could be.
Yeah. So, like, how old are you?
How old am I? I'm almost 40.
Almost 40. So you're young.
Thank you very much. You're one of the few people that say I'm almost 40, say I'm almost young.
Well,
I'm young.
I guess it all depends on where you're sitting on the fence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's like if I come across an 80-year-old, they say, "Oh, you're just a pup." You know what I mean? You ask a 14-year-old, they say, "A grandpa, yay."
I've started getting that. So that's really interesting, China. I don't know if you guys sort of understand sort of Chinese culture in that term. Most people are addressed by sort of their relative status, even if they're not a relative. So, for example, you and I would most likely to be uncles, shushu, right?
Yeah.
When I was younger, I might have been a gurga, an older brother.
An older brother, exactly.
When I was younger still, older people referred to me as younger brother, perhaps Didi.
Yeah, so exactly. And now, I get yaya every once in a while.
Oh, you get yaya now?
Yes.
Oh, that's like grandpa.
Especially the little ones. They'll come up to me, yaya.
How does it feel? Are you the same as me? So when I changed from a gurga to a shushu, from an older brother to a shushu, that had an effect on me. I was like, what happened to make you decide that I've now gone above that age?
Well, I don't know. I don't think. I think it's a status thing where I embrace it.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I just to be considered part of the community and stuff is a good thing. It's
being included. Right?
Being included, exactly. It's I love it. It's the way it is.
Did you ever get this? I've got this recently over the last few years. So from your peers, right, they'll often call you, and this has started for me only recently, they'll call me teacher, like Teacher Toby, Lao Shi. They'll call you Lao Shi. That is
Professor.
Also... Yeah, Professor Lao Shi. Yeah. So that's two things. One, it's respectful, but two, it's you've got a bit older.
Well, that's just it. I get that all the time. I get
20
that
years ago, you would have got that less, I think.
Well, 20 years ago, they say that's a Gweilo. and the name stuck. Well, because I'm from southern China, and Gweilo is Lao Wei, only in Cantonese and a little bit more derogatory.
What's your affinity now with China? How do you see yourself as sort of spiritually, for want of a better word, half Chinese?
You can never become Chinese. It doesn't matter how good you speak the language. You're always going to be looked at as a foreigner. It doesn't matter what you do, or if you're married to a Chinese, if you got Chinese, half English kids, you're still going to be that foreigner that lives with those Chinese people over there.
This is a country that traditionally doesn't really have immigration. So there are no immigrants here. I mean, I make jokes about this, but it's sort of true. Unless you're very, very good at football, soccer, you cannot become Chinese. A foreigner cannot become Chinese, and that is only to play for the national team.
Well, isn't that the truth? But that's okay. I think it helps in a lot of different ways, because you don't have that mass migration. You don't have pockets of foreigners from different countries congregating in certain areas. You don't have the crime. You don't have the social welfare draw on the country that you do in, say, Britain or Canada, or
that's been in the news recently.
Everywhere around the world, except for places like China.
Sure,
I think it's good for China.
Sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's not a new policy. I mean, it's difficult from a British standpoint, being a former colonial power. I think it's very difficult to have built. We're getting away from our original topic, but I'll say this very briefly, if you don't mind. It's difficult for a former colonial power, I think, to go around and build colonies everywhere, and they'll tell Canadians and Indians and Australians, well, don't come over here.
That's true, because those countries are based on immigration.
Sure.
Where China, they're taking care of their own people first, and I think that's a good idea.
Sure, I mean,
and they're not
enough to worry about. There's a billion, 1.4 billion. 1.4 billion. Yeah.
The Chinese are everywhere. They're everywhere. Anyway, we've been going on too long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to Toby's channel in the comment section below. So after you watch this, you go over and you start checking out his stuff, and the more people that subscribe to his channel, the happier he will be, and the more videos he will put out.
Yes.
And he'll put out stuff that's different than what I do, because he's got a different perspective, and he's in Chengdu. So you'll become familiar with Chengdu just like you become familiar with Nanning through the Gweilo 60 channel.
Thanks, really appreciate it, Gweilo. Thank you everybody for watching. Problem. Please do like and subscribe.
I'd do the same for a white guy. Anyway, that's another video from Gweilo 60, and
cheers, Toby. Thanks very much, guys. Bye-bye.
Like, comment, subscribe. Push that share button. Don't forget to resubscribe, hit the bell, and until next time, peace out. Thanks for watching. Bye now.
Bye-bye.